Has Christian McCaffrey provided the spark he was supposed to, in your opinion, Jesse?
Oh, I think we're going to disagree on this one, Grant. I do think he has. I think so. Hear me out. See, I knew we were going to disagree. I love this. Hear me out. Get your little notepad. You've been doing this note thing. This started. By
I
the
write
way,
things down that I don't want to forget. I don't because I don't want to interrupt. People say I interrupt people, so I'm like, okay, I have a point I want to make. Let me just write it down so I don't forget. Because sometimes you'll be talking and be like, what was I wanting to say? So go ahead.
That's fair. But this note thing just started like the last couple of weeks, and it's a little intimidating. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry.
Oh, it's like I'll make a point.
It's like a presidential debate. Like, okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
got you. All right,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So the reason that I think he's provided the spark that he's supposed to is since he's come on board, they've averaged 25.3 points a game, which puts them around 6th or 7th in the NFL.
That's
the first 6 games, they went over 20 points 3 times in 6 games. They've gone over 20 points every single time. Right now, the floor with him on the team, I believe, is 22 points. And then the ceiling is obviously above that. So I think Christian McCaffrey has provided the spark he's supposed to. Now it's time for Kyle Shanahan to provide the spark that he's supposed to. You see what I did there?
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Let me just disagree with you wholeheartedly. All right. Great. Okay. This 3 games, and they scored 31 against the Rams. That's nice. They always put it on the Rams. Against the Chiefs, 23. Against the Chargers, 22. This is a team averaging 22 points a game. So in 2 of the 3 games, they did exactly what they've been doing. This dude's averaging 4.3 yards per carry on this team, while Elijah Mitchell averaging 5.4. Jeff Wilson was averaging 5.1. Debo was averaging 5.9. I'm sorry. I don't see it yet. He's a really good player, but I don't see the big impact yet, and I guess he could prove it when they face the Dolphins, the Bucs, the Seahawks, maybe some playoff games, but I don't see it yet. I'm glad that you do, but I'm skeptical. Like this.
He got the Triple Crown basically in one game.
It was the Rams.
He did do that without Debo, but it was against the Rams. You're right.
The Niners put up 31 against the Rams, and then the next week, the freaking Cardinals put up 27 with Colt McCoy. Like, the Rams are really falling apart. I think it's hard to overstate how freaking awful they are. The Remilia Sports Report hasn't called into my Cohn phone in a minute and a half. Where you been, dog? He hasn't. I'd like to talk to him. I like him a lot, but he needs to own up to how freaking... It's the worst Super Bowl defending team ever. Ever. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to have a winning record. Whoa. They may not win 6 games. Tell me the last Super Bowl winner that did that with the same coach and the same quarterback. But this is neither here nor there. We're talking about Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, they are an awful football team. And I think it was funny because when they lost to the Bills, everybody was like, they're terrible, and they were dancing on their grave and all these other things. But when the 49ers beat them the first time, guess what happened? Everybody goes, oh, great win. Look at this. The 49ers are back, blah, 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 blah. And I included me, by the way. But everybody did that. And then we knew it was going to happen the second time. We knew that they were going to beat the Rams because that's what they always do. And once they beat them, I think everybody finally started to realize, wow, the Rams are just not a very good football team. And they're not. They're a bad football team, a very bad football team.
Very bad.
I still don't know outside of the Seahawks who the 49ers have beaten that are a good football team right now.
So coming back to McCaffrey, he had that kind of tepid game against, well, he had like a half a game against the Chiefs, and the Niners scored 23 points. Hard to read into that. And then they play the Rams and destroy him, and he's great. Hard to read into that. And then they have one game against the Chargers where he gets shut down because Trent Williams is tipping plays. Like, it's a little too early to say. It's a little too early to say. I think this 3-game stretch that they have coming up, Miami, Tampa, Seattle, that'll say everything. And then we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But if you want to like the Christian McCaffrey trade.
Well, who do they have? They have Arizona and New Orleans before that? Is that it? Yeah. So those are going to be
Colt McCoy and Andy Dalton.
We're still not going to know anything. That's crazy.
No. And what's crazy, I think the Niners, they had to have this sense of urgency last year. They had to win so many big games down the stretch because they started off slow that they developed a standard of performance down the line. Mm-hmm. And they had to keep going on the road. Now, they could just skate into the playoffs. And I don't know if that's good for them because at some point they need to flip the switch. And last year they flipped it week 10. Now it's week 11, and I still feel like they haven't flipped the switch. When will you? And they don't necessarily have to until the playoffs start, really. But week 13 against the Dolphins would be a good time.
have a question for you, and I thought about this yesterday and talked about it with I think it was with Jack, but I had brought it up. It's very likely that the 49ers are going to have to go through the Vikings on the road and the Eagles on the road. Now, the first game is debatable. Could be Dallas, could be the Giants. Let's say it's worst case scenario. Dallas at home, followed by the Vikings on the road, followed by the Eagles on the road. How confident are you that they would get through those 3 games and make it to a Super Bowl?
We'll see who's healthy, man. I don't want to go too far down. I don't want to. It is tough. But
that's, 49er fans should start to think about, I get it's early for the playoffs, but that is the likely path that they're going to have to go through. Like, that's
hold on, though.
a very real situation.
The Eagles just lost to Washington. Like, the Vikings have Kirk Cousins. There's a very real scenario where those teams lose the first round. And the NFC is even more wide open than you think. Like, it's possible the Niners lose first round because this is a team that plays down to their opponents. But frankly, Philly and Minnesota, like, I don't know what to expect from them in the playoffs either. So it's possible the Niners never have to go to Philly or Minnesota. It's who knows. So let's not go there yet. Let's stay in the moment. Funny Money says, we talking football. How about those Sac Kings? I haven't watched 1 minute of the Sacramento Kings, nor will I.
All I know is the Blazers beat them opening night. That's all. I
haven't watched Sacramento Kings since Mike Bibby was on that team. Darth Mexican says, Jimmy Garoppolo doing okay, but still holding my breath every pass. Can't be the only one. Can I have a quarterback even after an interception? I think he's going to get it done. What about Tua? Tua be killing it in the Niners right now. He's really doing a good job.
He's done.
But he's
great,
not here.
Yeah.
Antonio says, Jesse, you are the man on how you handle yourself on Twitter, respectful and humble. Keep up the great job. Love you show too. Are you saying I'm not?
I appreciate that. I will say, look, I always give the energy given to me. If somebody wants to come at me sideways, I will certainly give that back to them. I promise. But yes, I try to be humble. And as long as people are, respectful to me, I'm always going to be respectful back. There's no reason not to be.
Grant, Raj said he messaged you and emailed you. Hi, Jesse. I'll check it out. I don't think I got either of those, but I'll see what happened. I got some time the next week. I'm going to be on the road.